Hola chicas malas. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I have my little Houston dress on today. So some of you guys have been asking about Houston and what it's like living here. I just want to say I love Houston. I'm never leaving. I'm staying here forever. So I moved to Houston about maybe 3 years ago, right after COVID. That's when I moved. So I think maybe 2021 actually. So I think it's been like 4 years. So I've been here for a long time. My favorite thing about Houston is probably the people. And part of why I moved here is because they have a lot of job opportunities here. Like at the time that I was trying to switch careers, that's when I moved here. And also, okay, so I'm originally from Seattle. I've lived in Seattle, Dallas, Texas. I've lived in Washington, D.C., I've lived in Maryland, and now I'm here in Houston. Houston is my favorite. Fun fact, so I've actually been to about 25 or 26 out of the 50 states, and Texas is my favorite state. Like, I was always obsessed with Texas, and I always wanted to live here ever since I was in my early 20s. That was when I decided okay, one day I'm gonna live in Texas. So what I like about it here is there are so many people. I think there was an article that talked about how Texas has 8 million people or something within the greater Texas area. So there's the inner loop, there's the outer loop. Well, that's what I call it. I call it the outer loop, and then there are all the suburbs. So there are a whole bunch of different places that you could live in Texas. And then comparing it to the West Coast, it just doesn't compare. The prices are so much better here. So I just live in a 1-bedroom. I don't have any kids or anything, so I just feel like it's very doable in terms of the cost of living. Another thing that I like about Houston is their fashion. Well, I got this from Shein, so I was just kind of thinking about talking about this today. But I like how people are less judgmental here. If I compare Houston, Texas to the other places I've lived, I've seen women who become successful lash techs, hairstylists, real estate people, medical people. There are just so many opportunities here to the point where even I'm oh, maybe I should switch careers. Influencing. I've met so many content creators here. That's another thing. It's really easy to make friends because you can just go to events. I just go to different events, different meetups. If you look at my vlogs, you'll actually see me doing that. I don't have my immediate family here. So when I came here, I did not have any friends. I had to start from scratch. And I like how friendly everybody is here. Okay, so I also want to warn you guys because Houston is not perfect. So in terms of warnings, if I had to warn you about one thing, it is the potholes. The ground here in Houston, you could be driving down the street, pothole. You go into a parking lot, pothole. Go to the drive-thru, potholes. I literally had to get my tire fixed twice. I had to get the alignment on my car fixed. You know how the wheels are connected by there are 4 pipes. Actually, no, I think there are 2 pipes in between the wheels. I don't know what to call them, but the alignment on my car immediately got screwed as soon as I moved here. And I don't have a lowrider, but if you're from the West Coast, if you think you can bring your lowrider here, you're not gonna be able to do it. So another warning for you, if you're gonna move to Houston, do not get addicted to the food. The food here is so good. They have barbecue places. There's a Colombian place that just opened up nearby. Any food you can think of, any genre, any ethnic group you can think of, they have food for that. So all of the food here is really good, but they cook it with a lot of butter. They do a lot of deep fried stuff here. Okay, so I had never tried brisket and I had never tried boudin until I moved down here. So if you're one of those people that's kind of a foodie, you might get a little bit distracted by all the different types of meats here. So just a warning, if you're trying to lose weight or if you're trying not to get fat, I don't know. By the way, subscribe to my Instagram because, sorry, I'm recording. By the way, subscribe to my Instagram because on there I have a food diary. So I talk about how many calories I eat per day, how I try to stay healthy and stuff. So that's really hard. That's hard to do here in Houston. But if you're interested in that, just go ahead and subscribe on Instagram. But another thing about Houston too that I like is I like the fact that everybody's really expressive with their fashion. So you can wear this, I can wear this, it's winter time right now, but it's hot here. So it's 80 degrees. How did it go from snowing, to literally like 80 degrees. You have to bring like 5 different outfits. I only bought 3 coats because I was like, it's winter time in Houston. Like that doesn't exist. There is no winter. Winter wear. So I only had 3 coats. I had to rotate those same 3 coats for like 3 weeks in a row. And then I was gonna buy some more. I was like, oh, you know, maybe it is gonna be cold for the winter. It literally went back to 80 degrees. I had an allergy attack recently, and so I had to go get some Claritin D. If you have allergies, if you have spring allergies, if you have problems with pollen, I had to get Allegra, I have Zyrtec, I have Claritin D that I go and get from Sam's Club. They call it Sam's here. I'm like, that it's not Sam's, it's Sam's Club. Somebody at my job was like, oh, I'm gonna go to Sam's. I'm like, Sam, who's Sam? And they were like, oh, Sam's Club? And I'm like, the name is Sam's Club. But I have a Sam's Club membership, and I can get Claritin D. I can get like the fake Claritin D for like $7. So that's where I get my allergy medicine. So that's another thing about Houston. And then, okay, in terms of apartments, well, if you're gonna live in an apartment, just make sure you look at all the different neighborhoods, because I've noticed that some of them, they will still charge you the same price. And it's like you could have got an apartment right in the middle of your favorite neighborhood. So you have to really look, because the apartments do a good job of advertising, and they will try to convince you that they are the best apartment in town, but they may not be. So I know for me, I looked at quite a few different apartments online, but I knew which brand of apartments I wanted to have. So if you have a favorite brand, like in the city that you're in or something, like let's say you're coming from Miami and there's a like a chain of apartments in Miami, maybe you want to come down to Houston, you can try to actually see if they have any buildings here in Houston. That's what I did. So in the last city I lived in, I liked that apartment I was in, so I just looked up, where do they have these apartments? There are so many things to do. I am not a party person. I'm not a bar person. I am not a hookah person. I'm not a person. So I just, I go to different brunches. So they have Sunday Fun Day. I've never heard of that until I moved to Texas. So I guess Sunday Fun Day is like all the restaurants have these deals, and then like you and your friends go to happy hours. And it's not just drinks. They also have like, they have food that's half price. So you can go there and like get food with your friends. So I love that about Houston. I just like the food culture. I like the social vibes here. There's always something to do, and everything doesn't revolve around clubs. So when I was younger, depending on the city I was in, sometimes I did feel like stuff revolved around clubs, or I just was broke and I didn't have money. Oh, by the way, Houston has so many free events. So when you move here, you have to keep up with Discovery Green, keep up with Herman Park, keep up with like Memorial Park, pretty much all of the parks in the city. They all have an Instagram and they have websites, and you can just follow them and they will announce when they're having events. So they might have like a free concert. Herman Park, all through the spring and summer, they have like free concerts, ballet performances, just cultural performances, people playing instruments. They have a lot of free parades here. So there is something to do, especially if you have kids too. I mean, that's pretty cool that they have so many free events. But are you moving to Houston? Are you looking for a new friend? Are you trying to meet people? Because I love talking about this topic. I like talking about the city that I live in. But thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Bye.